everybody, and welcome to Speak On It Comics, where we discuss any and all topics in the wonderful world of comics. My name is Charles, and my partner
Eli.
And today we have a really exciting one for you guys. This one is by Image Comics. It is
Echolands.
And this is by J.H. Williams and Hayden Blackman. So if you guys are into epic fairy tale mythology, you guys will really enjoy this one. And I will say the first thing that kind of caught my attention, caught my eye, was the landscape type style.
Widescreen.
Yeah,
movie.
sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
I really did enjoy this. What did you think when you first saw this? You thought you would love it?
6 months ago, I saw the comic laying over here on this table, 50 University Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. And I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. I was like, but then I looked through it, and I guess I forgot about it.
Right.
And it's funny how it ended up back in my hands, all 6 issues of it.
Thanks to me.
Yeah, thanks to him. Yeah, training day.
I like getting people.
Yeah, he gets me on it. So it's like, I love that the widescreens. I'm a big movie fan, and I believe you could even convey more on the widescreen than this way. But the panels in this book, like, remember when they were like talking? You know what? We'll show right now. Sorry. There was one thing that caught my attention, without giving anything away. Before we start talking about, see how like the window, like the windows. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This book is a work of art, and also you were saying the artist worked on. Yeah,
so the art. Okay, so J.H. Williams, he's done some. He's done some work with some heavy hitters. So he's worked with Neil Gaiman. He's worked with Alan Moore. I think with Promethea. He also he's worked with quite a few people in the business. He's also did Batwoman. As you can he's done So he's worked with DC. I believe Blackman. He's did Elektra. He's done Elektra. He's done some other stuff too. So these guys are, these guys have been in the business for a really long time, and they decided to come together and do this particular story here, which is very rooted in mythology here. And one thing that stood out to me was this dynamic pose of
Red Riding
Little Red.
What you got in the basket, gorgeous?
I got a little bunny rabbit which I'm taking to my grandma's to have, see?
For those Looney Tunes fans out there.
Yeah, for those Looney Tunes fans. So, I will say the story itself. I mean, it did kind of stick out to me, that whole Little Red Riding Hood fairy tale that I enjoyed as a kid. Did you like Little Red Riding Hood?
I like Tex Avery's Little Red
Riding Hood. Of swing, that little red-headed ball of fire, Red Hot Riding Hood.
Hey, Daddy.
When I was a kid, posted on TikTok yesterday. It was inspired. The mask inspired that. The scene where he turned into the wolf and he's banging on himself.
Right.
The cartoon.
Yeah.
But Tex Avery did. I don't know if you guys remember when it was Little Hot Red Riding Hood or something like that. So she comes out dancing and she's swiveling her hips and the wolf's going nuts and getting hard and not that way, his body So that was my favorite Little Red Riding Hood. Or the Looney Tunes one was funny too. She bumps into Bugs Bunny. She had the glasses on.
Hey, Grandma! I brought a little bunny rabbit for you to have.
Rabbit?
Hey, Grandma! You almost forgot. Grandma, what big eyes you got!
Grandma, what big eyes you have!
Right.
So those are my 2 favorites. The story.
Yeah.
You know the original story.
Yeah, no, so, originally, Little Red Riding Hood, I think it was originally published by Charles Perrault back in the late 1600s.
Wow.
And
Look at him.
so this story has been around for, centuries. And I think what happened was when he originally got the concept for this, it was through several individuals because this was a European-centric type of fairy tale or folklore story. And he got these, these ideas of this particular story through a lot of different individuals collectively, and published this, published the story that we all know. And then later, I think in the 1800s, that's when Grimm, those guys, the brothers
Grimm,
The brothers went and took over and did their version. Now, the interesting thing about those guys was the fact that there was a sequel that they created.
I did not know this.
Originally, I'll do a little backstory on this because I got to tell this story. My mom, love you, Mom. My mom bought me these sort of like Mother Goose books when I was a kid, and I was a little tyke, you know, lady high, and it was cool because they had like kind of the lenta color where you moved them and they would
you still
like
have
move
it?
a little. I wish.
You failed this city.
Exactly, I did.
You gotta look that up. That's cool.
It was really cool, and I remember, you know, all the books that I got. Me and my cousins. We got Little Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel?
Which was one of my favorites. Wicked book, that witch. Hansel and Gretel and Jack and the Beanstalk. I mean, some of my favorites. Some of my favorites.
Classics. Yeah.
Little Red Riding Hood stood out to me, and I'll tell you why. I mean, if anybody knows the story of Little Red Riding Hood, little girl, she decides she wants to go to grandma's house, and mom is like, okay, yeah, you can go visit grandma. She said, stay on path. Stay on path.
How many times kids really listen?
Kids don't really listen, right?
No,
so they're like, yeah, Mom, no problem, I'll stay on path.
Always off path.
Always. So, you know, today, you know, and then as she I won't talk about it, but as she's going through the path, she's going down the path, and she stops and looks at flowers. She stops and look at, you know, water streams, things like that. And this big bad wolf comes, right? And he's stalking her, and he actually asks her where she's going. You know, so his original intent was to obviously, you know, eat her, but he decides to, you know, be a little bit strategic and ask her where she's going. And he's like, oh, I'm going to see my grandmother, whatever. And so another little message: don't talk to strangers. Yeah. All right. So don't be telling them where you're going. There's a lot of wolves
out there too.
Yeah.
So
you know, so that's another thing. So, so she did tell him that, and he decides to take a shortcut and get to grandma's house, and gets there before Little Red Riding Hood, and she comes in, and now there's two versions to this. Okay, now the one version is that he did gobble grandma behind up originally, and then the second version is he threw her behind in the closet. You know,
he didn't want to eat old meat. Rancid old meat. No, good. Sorry.
So I'm gonna go with my version that I saw as a kid. He gobbled grandma up, all right? And when he gets, and after he eats her up, he puts on grandma's clothes and he lays in the bed, you know, with the sheet like this. And Sheik walks in, and he's, you know, trying to be grandma, and he's like, yeah, you know, my hi dear, and all this other stuff, and she can't really see him. And then as he starts to reveal the sheet, she's like, wait a minute, grandma, what big eyes you got? And then she sees the ears, and he's like, hey, grandma, what big ears? And then she sees the mouth, like, oh, grandma, what big mouth? And that's the trigger, right? He just goes
to eat you with,
and he goes after Little Red Riding Hood. Now, the interesting thing is there's two versions to the ending. You know how we have different endings to movies in it now? There's alternate ending. There's alternate ending. So the one ending is, and this is the version that I saw, I went to the last page of my book. Remember, I was a tyke, okay? I went to the last page, and I saw the scene where the lumberjack chops the wolf, and he's standing over the body of the wolf. The wolf has his tongue out. He's like, his eyes is bulging, and yeah, he's basically dead. And as a horror fan as I was, thanks to my dad, taking me to all the horror movies there, I was like mesmerized by it. I was mesmerized by, you know, just looking at that particular splash page of, you know, a murder, basically, this lumberjack killing this wolf. And then there was another version where he knocked the wolf out, you know. So there was another version of that.
G-rated version.
Yeah, basically. Disney. They probably, you know, changed it up a little bit. Now, the crazy thing is that over time, there's been different reiterations of the Little Red Riding Hood story. And I think one was that her cloak. So first off, this cloak here, back in the day, they called a woman a rider because this is what they would wear when they're riding. You know, this was like a formal
When the
thing.
horses and stuff?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
So that's why they got the
I'm
whole
loining
idea
stuff.
of riding. And so what happened is that originally there was another version where the cloak, this cloak here, was enchanted with some magic, and when the wolf tried to bite it, burned his mouth.
Oh,
You know,
good cloak to have.
so yeah, so that was one version of it. Another version is Grandma never got eaten up. They outwitted the wolf at the end. They still got saved by the lumberjack. The lumberjack killed the wolf. But then the lumberjack was looking for wolf skin anyway, so you know, he saved them, but at the same time he's like, oh, I got wolf skin. So he did kill the wolf, and the grandma and Little Red Riding Hood, there was a sequel. There was a sequel to the Little Red Riding Hood story.
I did not know that.
And they encountered a different wolf, but this time, because of their experience fighting the first wolf, they was able to outwit this one.
Always learn from your
You know,
experience, kids.
kind of like, you know, Scream with Nev Campbell, you know, with Sidney Prescott. She knew, you know, she didn't know what she was getting herself into in the first Scream, but by the second Scream, she knew. She was like, oh, I know.
I got you.
Yeah, phone call, I got it. So just to give you a little bit of backstory on that, but there has been a lot of different stories about this character, and you know, obviously they had the Grimm fairy tale stories, the more edgier ones that came out, like I think back maybe 10, 15 years ago. They were very, very like
Movies
edgy
and all
and
that stuff,
adult and things like that, very graphic. So
Go into the book, which is
Flash
graphic.
Into this present time where we're reading Echolands. This particular story was really, really fantastic. The main character, her name is Hope Red Hood. No relation to Jason Todd. But her name is Hope Red Hood, and she's a thief. And she stole something very precious.
From the evil warlord, wizard.
Yeah, his name is Teros Desmond. Yeah, so he's the big bad. And she stole this amulet, so to speak. And apparently, it holds some secrets. So they lived in a town called Mythwood. And apparently there is no, like, I guess these people live there, different types of people. I'm talking robots, I'm talking demigods, ogres,
vampires,
all different types
Frankensteins, all
of,
that. Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty cool.
like all like
Even-
mythological and literary.
Even the way it
type
was
of characters
drawn,
here.
real quick.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Just that scene alone got me into the world of Echolands.
You know, it's so funny when I look at the scenes in his story. I mean, how
Beautiful art.
long do you think he took to
Took his
draw
time.
this? I mean, and
For
then
a good page, it takes about a day easy. Yeah,
Yeah?
most. Yeah.
I mean, he knows he's an artist.
It takes
so
a minute.
He's been doing this for a long time. So I mean, just this page, this front page alone. here.
Concept design, sketching.
Yeah.
Don't know if he's even doing the inking and the coloring in there neither. If he's doing all of it, forget about it.
I think this guy.
If he's doing
Dave,
colors,
yeah, Dave Stewart.
he did the art and
is doing
design.
the art.
That's a lot of work. Yeah.
So
So shout out, beautiful work. Though.
I mean, beautiful. And then it's like the gift that keeps on giving, because if you look at it hard enough, you find stuff.
Yep, there's plenty of stuff hidden in each page. That's what got me into it too. I mean, I liked the story. The story was good. And I'm sure issue 2 and 3 and 6 is going to be better. But like, they grab you into the world from the get.
Yeah.
The girl's getting chased, and when she passes by all these creatures and these cartoons and all these different things, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So yeah, the artwork is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine this takes a while.
Yeah.
And they've been cranking this book out every month.
Yep. So shout out.
You know,
to this
like
guy.
clockwork. But so I know they're busting their behinds trying to get it done. But I mean, amazing stuff, bro. Really amazing stuff. So I mean, the fact of the matter is she's like running with this very valuable item from this very powerful wizard.
She runs to the muscle
She's like
and the heart.
she's like yeah. I mean, she's
Her boy.
yeah. He's like a ride or die friend of hers. His name is Core, and you don't know too much about him. His life. He's
Maybe in the next one.
yeah. He's not that talkative about his past. All he does mentions, I think, in this is the fact that his father was abusive. I think that's the only thing that they sort of hint at, but not too much more detail than that. But
he sacrifices himself for her. Not in a death way, but in a getting caught way.
Yeah.
So you know they're close.
He's a protector.
And he's loyal.
He's a protector. He's definitely loves to protect her. And, you know, she's being chased by the military or the police of the town because she stole from the big bad. And they actually go down this, where they thought there was an exit strategy. And unfortunately, they get trapped. And they kind of shoot out some type of electrifying mesh out. And Core takes the brunt of it. Yeah, basically, he steps in front. He gets caught with this net, and they kind of trap her. And they say something just really wicked to the fact that you know, what we do with these, we usually chop off their hands
and burn a T on their face.
Yeah. So
teeth.
I mean, in you know, in those days, I could imagine that.
Yeah, some countries they chop off your hand. They do those things.
Yeah, they still do that, huh?
Yeah, some unfortunately.
Wow.
So she says the word red, and then what happens?
Yes.
We won't show for the more sensitive viewers.
Yeah.
It's an R-rated comic, by the way.
Right. Yeah, so she says the word red, and magically she's able to combust one of the head military police guys' face.
Their heads.
Head, like, explodes.
She busted their heads.
Yeah. And
Arrows
so
play a big
in
part
walk the
villainous
daughter, the daughter of the big bad. And it seems like she has this very dark look to her.
She's wearing a mask.
She's wearing a mask. And
she took out her eyeball, like a robotic eyeball.
Yeah, like a robotic eyeball or something. Yeah.
So like she's made of like guts, like Akira.
Yeah. I think, but you know, the interesting thing about her too, she kind of reminded me a little bit of Mumra.
Oh yeah,
from Thundercats. When he's in his decayed form, right? And he's like walking, and he has that like kind of, he's like cowering, and he has that like, he's kind of like harmonious and calm, and but you can sense the evil. That's kind of how she, you know, to me, she kind of has that type of same look to her.
So in the end, they have a face-to-face. We won't show what they look like, so we won't give anything away. But she's definitely like a green Akira meets Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, she's definitely. I mean, it was really interesting. I mean, a lot of and the other thing too about with her abilities, I guess once Hope uses her powers, she gets drained. She's sort of
the
like
kryptonite.
Yeah, it's too much for her.
Vulnerable.
So she just so that's interesting. But but the first story really sets up, you know, as far as the chase factor. You don't really understand exactly what the valuable item that she took, but he wants it back bad, and he's
willing to
after
kill
her,
for it.
and and I've already read some of the.
I gotta catch up. I did buy 5 issues today.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one day we'll do a whole speak on it, on all of these issues, and really deep dive into this. But just for the first start of this issue, I was invested. You know, it's one of my favorite.
I love the art.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Really great stuff.
Can't forget the Oracle.
Yeah, they have the Oracle. She kind of breaks the fourth wall. She talks to the audience, and she kind of gives you a heads up of what's going on and what's to come. So really cool stuff there.
And the end of the book,
yeah,
has a little bit of interview with the writer.
Yeah. So the end of the book, it's funny. It's like it's almost like the Echo. It's like a newspaper. They kind of do it like a newspaper article, interview, and they're interviewing Teros Daman, interviewing the actual big bad wizard. So they're asking him questions. So you get to read that, which is fun. Then they have like different commercials and stuff like that, like ads, which is really cool. And then they had a bit of a write-up, right?
Yep. At the end,
Yeah, a little bit of the writer talking about his journey and what he had to go through to get this done. So it's really
inspiring.
Yeah, really great.
And
stuff.
also the music that he was listening to while writing.
Yes, right.
Forget about that. And he likes a lot of music. Reminds me of my brother.
He got a soundtrack of all the songs that he was listening to as he was creating it. So really cool stuff there. Yeah, I mean, this was really, really fantastic. I think they did a great job. Then you can join the Red Hood Club.
There you go.
So,
just like the Marvel bullpen back in the 90s.
Yeah, they're trying to get back to where comics used to be, I think.
Back to the community part, which is awesome.
Which is, I think it's great. Yeah.
So
overall, I mean, 2 thumbs up for me.
I'm ready to read the rest.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait till you read
I'll read it
stuff,
soon.
and we're gonna definitely come back and
speak on it.
We're gonna speak on it.
Well, in sables, clothes with Paris labels, Daddy, you better get the best for me.